Today we're going to calculate the area of a triangle given side, angle, side information, and we're also going to use the law of sines to find the side lengths and angle measurements of a triangle. What formula have we used in the past to find the area of a triangle? Well, we've used A equals 1/2 base times height. All right, so there's my height here. We're going to call this triangle A, B, C. All right, so I'm going to give you some values here. With this information that I gave you, are you able to find the area of triangle ABC? Well, we may not know the value of h, so we can't use 1/2 times base times height. But we can find it using our previous trig knowledge. So let's take a look at this. The sine of A is opposite over hypotenuse. So h over c. If we want to find h, we just need to get h by itself. And to do that, we can multiply c to both sides. So now we have c times the sine of A equals h. And if the area is 1/2 base times height, and the height is c sine of A, then the area is now 1/2 times c sine of A times b. So this would be the area of this triangle. Now let's take a look at the areas of triangles using trig functions. Alright, so to find the area of any triangle here, you would just take 1/2 times the two sides times sine of the angle. So you see for the first one, we have sine of angle A. We're going to multiply that times the two other sides. So we have A as the angle, and then B and C as the sides. For this one, we have A and C as the sides, and then the sine of the angle B. So we're never repeating any letters here. We have A, B, and C in some form for each of the areas. Let's take a look at this example over here. Using those formulas, I know that my area equals 1/2 sine of my angle times my other two sides. So 3 times 5. All right. So my area is going to equal 1/2 15 times sine of 35 degrees. Once we plug that into our calculator, making sure we're in degree mode and not radian mode, we get 4.302. So that's how you would use it to find the area of a triangle using trig. So let's now look at what happens when we set those three equations equal to each other, the three equations to find the area of a triangle. So here was the first one, 1/2 BC sine A, 1/2 AC sine B, 1/2 AB sine C. So I just want to show you what happens when I set them equal to each other. I want to simplify this, so I'm going to multiply everything by 2, and that'll get rid of all of my fractions. 2 times 1/2 is 1, 2 times 1/2 is 1, 2 times 1/2 is 1. All right, so we're left with this. Now if I divide everything by A, B, and C to simplify, so this B cancels with this B, this C cancels with this C, this A cancels with this A, this C cancels with this C, this A and this A cancel, this B and this B cancels. So now we're left with sine of A over A, sine of B over B, and sine of C over C. Remember that lowercase letters symbolize sides and uppercase letters symbolize angles. So the sine of A over A actually does equal the sine of B over B equals the sine of C over C. And this rule here is actually the law of sines. Let me show that to you. So here's a better looking version of the law of sines with the triangle to kind of show you the points of reference here. So make sure you have this information somewhere. This is very important, the law of sines. And the law of sines can be used to solve a triangle if you know two angle measures and any side length. If you remember from geometry, the angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle. And that's what we're going to focus on today, when you know two angle measurements and any side length. The next lesson we'll do is if you know two side lengths and the measure of the angle that's not between them. So side, side angle. But there are a lot of special rules and stuff that go along with that one. So we'll do that next time around. So let's look at this example. It says solve the triangle, and it gives us some information here. We have two angles and a side. So we have angle, angle, side here. Remember that solving a triangle means finding all the information we don't already know. So I need to find that other angle that we don't know, angle B, and we need to find side C and B. So I always like to start with the easy stuff first, and that's going to be to find the other angle here. We know that to find an angle, we just take 180 and we minus the other two angles that we already know. So that's going to be angle B. So 180 minus 34 minus 27 is 119. So angle B is 119 degrees. Now we need to find sides C and B. And in order to do that, we're actually just going to use the law of sines to find side A, or side C and side B. Since we have both angle A and side A, we're going to use that to help us find the other sides. So let's look at how we set that up. We have sine of A over A equals sine of B over B. And we can also set it up over here, sine of C over C. Right, so for both of these equations here, we have all the information except for one piece. So we're going to use that to solve for side B and side C. So over here, we have the sine of 27 degrees over 15 equals the sine of 119 degrees over B. We don't know what B is yet. Now we cross multiply and we get B sine 27 degrees equals 15 sine of 119 degrees. To get B by itself, we divide by the sine of 27. So B equals whatever this is in your calculator. So 15 times the sine of 119 degrees divided by the sine of 27 degrees. Plug that into our calculator, make sure we're in degree mode, and I get 28.9. So B is going to be 28.9 units. Same thing over here. Sine of 27 degrees over 15 equals the sine, and C is 34 degrees, 34 degrees over C. Again, we cross multiply. C sine of 27 degrees equals 15 sine of 34 degrees. Divide both sides by sine of 27 to get C by itself. And we get C equals, and then 15 times the sine of 34 divided by the sine of 27 in your calculator should get you approximately 18.48 after we round it. Alright, so we needed the third angle. We found that over here. And we needed the two sides, B and C. And we found both of those. That's all we have today. Your homework assignment is page 726, numbers 1 through 9. This assignment is in Teams, and that's where you should turn it in. There's a video in there on how to do that, but if you have any questions, always email me, let me know, and I'll help you through the process. And don't forget, our Zoom meetings are Wednesday from 9:15 to 10. Happy problem solving. I'll see you soon.